Okay, in this video today, I'm going to talk about how to use the Find Parts screen to find parts, check stock levels, calculate prices, find a bunch of other information about parts, individual parts, and how to create sales orders and quotations. So first of all, there's lots of ways to open the Find Parts screen. You can click on the Find Parts button, and this will open up the Find Part screen. In this case, this screen is specialized for use for auto body supply companies that sell crash parts, things like that. Other industries might use another version of this screen in our system. But this is going to specialize or focus on the Find Parts for the auto body supply industry. You can use this button to open it up if you are a user of our older version of 1place, which is called OneSource. You can hit Control Q. That opens it up just like before. You can press F1. Lots of ways to open up this screen, whichever you prefer. So I'll go ahead and close these extra versions of it. And that shows you that you can take multiple, you can search for multiple different year make models for different customers at the same time. So let's talk about, first of all, searching. If I type in the company name, like if I was looking for Anaheim Collision, you can see that it comes up. It starts with ANA. Now, if something I'm searching for doesn't start with, if I can't find it based on the starts with, I can search by the street number or the street name or the phone number, things like that. And so if I were to type 1061, which is the beginning of the address, it says it cannot find the value. Do you want to search in other fields as well? Yes, I'd like to search that. So now it's doing a deeper search in the other column. So now it found things that have 1061. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And this is just a real powerful way to search for different values in the same drop-down list. You will see that the ship to is what we're filling in first. That's how companies usually call. They call from the shipping location, so we put that first. It sets the focus down here on the year. It skipped over some fields I want to mention. The customer order number, you can go ahead and type that in if you'd like. It automatically fills in the payment terms for that customer, the ship via, the shipping method basically, which warehouse that customer is being serviced from. So it's going to be searching by default for inventory in this warehouse. If they wanted to pick up a part from a different warehouse, you could just change it right here, and then that would search for parts from that warehouse. Here you can type comments that will show up on the invoice. So I'll go ahead and just set my focus here in the year. I'll put in 08 on the Accord. I'll press enter, and I can just press enter a few times, and then it'll pull up a list of parts that are in the system that have a catalog entry on these individual parts. And we'll talk about that in a different video. But on the item detail screen, there's a tab called catalog, and you'll see the different search methods for that part. So these are the parts. There's 159 that have catalog entries for this part or for this year make model. Now, if I wanted to just narrow it down more, I could type in here front bumpers and components, for example, and press enter a few more times. And now it's narrowed it down to 14 parts. If I wanted to use my mouse, I can just click the little X here to clear that up here. We'll go back to our list of 159. If I clicked on front bumpers, that's automatically going to fill in and search at the same time. Cooling, it's going to fill in the cooling and search at the same time. So these little buttons are something you can define what they're called and what they do over in the settings on the sales section of the settings on the Find Parts subsection for these buttons here. Once you You can also further narrow it down. Like, let's say I wanted to see a reinforcement. I could just come here to description, REIN, and because it's got here, the search is going to be default of contains. So if I just type the word rein and I click search, it's going to narrow down my list to just those that have that REIN in somewhere in the description. So that's kind of a nice way to drill down further. If I type for a part number, in this case, it's going to ignore the year, make, model, the category, all these fields it's going to ignore. And if I typed in, HO 1,254, that's just going to narrow it down to just anything that has that number, either as the item number or as the supplier's item number or as an OEM number, or there just does a global search for that number in the system. I could even search for just HO, and that's going to show me, in this case, all the parts that start with HO or that contain HO. There's 6,000 parts. Maybe I just want to see front bumpers. That's part type 1,000. That's going to show me 4,000 front bumpers, for example. So this part number search is very powerful, and you can change it from contains if you want. You can have it be an exact value like an OEM number or starts with, but it defaults to contains. So let's go ahead and just show front bumpers again. And once I'm on by default, when I click search, it sets the focus here, and I can arrow up and down. As I arrow up and down, I can press enter, and that automatically saves me the time of having to grab my mouse and select this and come over here and select this and change it to a 1. Just by pressing the enter, it does all three of those actions in one. If I press enter again, it sets the focus over on the price. See that the pricing is calculated automatically. These guys have a particular discount. It calculated that off of the list price. 30%, looks like it's 30%. So that's how easily you can just find and select parts. I can change the price. If I have the rights to do that, I can go ahead and just click on it and type in a new price. I can type in a different discount, and it'll recalculate that price. If I don't want to, if I change my mind, the customer changes their mind, if I press the space bar, that will unselect it again. Pressing enter selects it, so space bar, or you can just come over and just click on one of these if you want to use your mouse. So let's just say I'm up here on, let's say I've selected this one, and I'm on this HO 1,254, and I want to know more information about the customer's credit or stock levels or vendors or sales information. If I click on this, I can see that this customer has $121 of credit. And so once I create a sales order, I can apply that credit on the sales order payments info tab. If I would like to see stock levels, well, because I don't have anything on that one, let's go check a different one. Let's press this one. There we go. Stock levels for that part. Where they came from, which warehouse they're in, which bin they're in, things like that. Cost, if I have the right to see that, I can see the cost. Let's click on hide and click on show vendors. Now I can see the vendors that I've got set up for this part. Sales history. Everybody I've sold it to, the most recent, which invoice it's on, who I sold it, what they paid, things like that. So really helpful information without having to leave the screen. If I click on the help button, I can see help for this screen. Once I've selected the parts that I want to quote or order, I can just click on add to quote. That'll open up a new tab. That'll drop those items onto the quote. If I continue searching for more, and I click on add to quote, that will just add it to that open quote. There, now it's a third line item on that quote. Same thing is true for if I were to click on add to sales order. It's going to automatically create a sales order and drop those 3 line items onto it. And once I've got a sales order, from there I can print picking tickets, and I can print a sales order. I can pick a packing slip, print a packing slip. I can click on create invoice and turn it into an invoice. Or I can just, in this case, I've got it set to automatically change the status to print and pick. So now it's going to show up in the warehouse on their screen, on the shipping and receiving screen. So that's just kind of a high level how to use the find parts screen to find parts, to check prices, check availability, drop them onto quotes, drop them onto orders. When I'm ready to take the next call, I can click on find parts and a new tab will come up, or I can just click on clear all and I'm ready to go on to the next one. So hopefully this has been helpful, and I do hope you have a great day.